31 days of words of truth. Welcome to Stir Up Your Purpose channel. Last year, I did a daily posting for 31 days on words of truth on my Facebook profile. The idea about truth had been percolating my mind, and I felt inspired to share those words of truth. These were quotes and thoughts that have inspired and made lasting impressions on me. I promised myself that I will do a video version on those postings on YouTube. You might get to listen to them for the first time, but I get to narrate and assimilate them for the umpteenth time, thereby deepening the grooves of those words in my consciousness. It is written, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." It is the truth that we know, practice, and have experienced that sets us free, and not the truth that we just read or are told that sets free. I hope you find these words inspiring and put them to practice as we count down into the year 2021. Enjoy. Day 31. Truth is principle. Truth is principle. Principle is truth. Truth is God. God is principle. Emmet Fox said, "This aspect of God is principle is probably the one that is least understood." What does the word principle mean? Consider a few generally accepted principles. Water seeks its own level. This is a principle. It is not only the course taken by a particular drop of water in a particular locality, it is true of all water everywhere. The angles of any triangle always add up to 180 degrees. It makes no matter what kind of triangle one may consider. As long as it is a triangle, this principle holds. These principles were true 1 billion years ago, and they will be true 1 billion years hence. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. Prayer is answered because God is principle, eternally manifest in the same way. When we pray rightly, we bring ourselves into harmony with His law of being. Prayer does not ask God to change the laws for our temporary convenience, but it tunes us in, so to speak, with divine principle. If God were to make exceptions because we were in great difficulties, which because of His nature He could never do, we should never know where we stood. If the law of gravity were occasionally suspended without notice, say because a very important man had fallen off a roof, you know what will happen to the world. Beauty is the perfect balance of life, truth, and love. In any true work of art, you will find that these three aspects are balanced. Truth is principle. Final thoughts. Wow, it's been a great and illuminating experience sharing these words of truth, quotes, and thoughts in the past 31 days. When I embarked on this journey, by day 4, I never knew the effort required in recording, editing, and producing the content. Each video takes about 2 to 3 hours to produce, but I pushed on and persevered because as much as possible, I try to finish what I start. And then on day 7, my wife tested positive for COVID-19. Or more like she went for a test on Monday, day 7, because she had some symptoms. And the result came back positive, I believe, the next day. By the way, she is a frontline worker. Kudos to all the frontline workers. You guys are doing a great job. And each day you go into the battlefield, you are more exposed to the virus. 3 days into my wife's isolation, she had to provide the details of those she was in close contact, which was myself and my daughter. So we had to quarantine. Then, about 5 days thereafter, I got a call from the health authorities. They indicated that we have to quarantine for 6 more days due to the fact that I and my daughter had no symptoms. This is because someone who was in close contact with COVID positive person can still be symptomatic within 14 days of initial exposure. The quarantine rules included no curbside pickups. It simply means you are under house arrest. Even my normal daily walk around my quiet neighborhood was discouraged. I did not agree with this initially, and the lady said they cannot force me, but by the time she called my daughter, she mentioned to her that it seems Dad loves his daily walks, but it was not advisable. And when I was about to go for my walk later in the evening, my daughter mentioned that it was not advisable. Well, what do? You have to show a good example to your daughter, right? So no daily walks until after the quarantine was over. From December 8 to 21, we were under lockdown, and we followed the protocols suggested by the health authorities. We had to also self-isolate from each other within the house. I'm glad that I started the journey of sharing these words of truth, because by the time I posted the day 1 and day 2 videos, though day 31 seemed so far, I knew there was no going back. But oh boy, the COVID-19 experience brought in another dimension. What if? So each day from day 8 was not just about sharing with you those words of truth, but those words were meant as a shield for myself and my family as we navigated those isolation days and ensuring my wife's needs were met since she could not come out of her room. Yes, COVID-19 is real and it can be tricky. She even lost her sense of smell, which came back after 10 days. On day 18, after my wife's isolation, she had a serious breathing problem, and we had to call 911, and the ambulance came and took her to the emergency. The protocol was that I could not go with her to the emergency. Thank God, after a few hours, she called that her breathing had stabilized, her oxygen saturation and lungs was okay, and she was discharged that same night. While she was at the emergency, although I was a little bit shaken, I trusted that all is well and that God will see her through and her breathing will improve. It's been an interesting experience, so to speak. I'm glad that my wife has recovered, fully recovered, and we are all doing well. We were able to celebrate and share gifts on Christmas Day, as we do every year, though we only had a few days after the isolation to get and put the gift under the Christmas tree. I hope you found those words uplifting as I did. And just like any information, it is of no use or value if those concepts and ideas are not adopted or assimilated and become part of us. Once it is ingrained and understood, that is when the magic happens. And no power outside of ourselves can hinder or stop us. Wishing you a wonderful New Year 2021. Thanks for watching. Bye.